The best strategy prior to the ESG issues that were brought forward by the SEC, BlackRock, and POTUS himself was to simply buy a basket. Yeah, I don't think any of that's going to happen. I mean, Biden is talking about a wealth tax now and taxing unrealized gains. For most entrepreneurs in America, that is an un-American idea. What made this country great was entrepreneurship and the employment of capital. And obviously, Biden's plan would be trying to take that capital back before death. That's simply un-American. I don't think there's a chance of that happening. Biden's popularity has dropped to new all-time lows. I don't want to get into politics, but he's worse off than Trump was at this time in Trump's administration. The chance that he gets any policy through before the midterms is zero. I think his party will be decimated in the midterms if he keeps pushing policy like this. So there'll be nothing happening after the midterms, and we'll have to wait till the next general election before any of these ideas get pushed forward. But this plan is DOA, in my opinion. Not a chance this happens, and that's a good thing. At this point, I like gridlock in Washington. We've had enough spending. Let's end it now, and let's coast in for the next 36 months with nothing else done. That would be good. I think there are 5 policy vectors in place right now. And here's the basic premise, okay? If you look at the world the way I do through the institutional indexing, the majority of the world's wealth is in sovereign wealth and pension plans in America. So it's great to talk about retail investors in Bitcoin, but they're absolutely nothing burgers. In fact, Bitcoin's less than $1 trillion, which is nothing in the context of assets. Now, how's that going to change? The only way that changes is if we get policy. In other words, if we allow institutions to buy Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And in order to do that, we need the SEC and the regulators to rule. Now, there are 5 different initiatives. Number 1, the Loomis bill. Number 2, you've got a really good thing happening with POTUS's statement. He came out and said, look, I'm the President of the United States. I believe in the productivity opportunity of crypto. Let's examine it. So that's a good thing that came out of the executive order. Then you've got BlackRock, who's saying, look, we understand the potential, but we want to talk about ESG concerns. Then you have the SEC, another piece of policy just last week, talking about doing carbon audits on every company, including crypto companies. And 24 hours old, the Haggerty transparency on stablecoin bill just hit the market 24 hours ago. It's only 2 pages. So this has tremendous potential. All of this suggests that there's potential for policy that can really help the crypto markets in a good way. I don't see them having much in terms of getting programmers to go to work to do a new coin. They should simply license a series of stable coins, perhaps use the Haggerty bill, which makes 2 things very important. An audit every 30 days of the underlying assets, and you're not allowed to use any asset that has a longer duration than 12 months. So that means you're basically building a money market fund, which we allow thousands of in this jurisdiction. So all you're doing is applying the same rules that basically guide money market funds like at Schwab or Fidelity and applying that to a USDC stablecoin or another stablecoin. That bill alone would bring billions of dollars into the balance sheets of corporations, which are not allowed to buy stablecoins yet because we don't have policy. Now, regarding the other aspect of POTUS's executive order, and this is the reason I'm here at Bitcoin for the keynote today, we've got big problems with ESG. Best and easiest play is just to buy the ETF in Canada. There isn't an ETF in the United States yet. But the best strategy prior to the ESG issues that were brought forward by the SEC, BlackRock, and POTUS himself was to simply buy a basket of the public miners, companies like Riot and Marathon and Hive and Hut 8. But you can't buy those anymore because they're using carbon offset credits, and the SEC is saying they want to audit those every quarter. And everybody knows the carbon offset market is complete BS. You can't go mining stuff using gas or carbon fuel and then buy an acre of the rainforest and say they offset each other. That's complete BS. And so it's not going to survive an audit. But worse, you can't find an actual company like an auditor to sign those statements. They are not going to take the risk when the SEC makes it law. You've got an institution. They can either buy one that's using clean, sustainable energy and hydro, or they can buy a dirty miner. What do you think they're going to do? So the market's going to decide. They'll just basically starve them from capital. But that's okay. These are the pioneers for this industry, and we deserve to give them accolades. They didn't know this ESG stuff was going to come, and they got the arrows in their back. Too bad. What can you do about it? If you're an investor, you have to read the room. You have to understand when policy is changing. You have to understand when the regulator is changing. What changed my mind was the first inkling of regulatory support in Canada, then Switzerland, then Germany, then United Arab Emirates, and then in England. Now, it hasn't happened here in the US yet, but when I saw this happening, I thought, I've got to get ahead of this. And I started my first positions in Ethereum and Bitcoin, and then expanded my offerings into blockchains in level 1, level 2, and then started investing in the equity of companies like WonderFi, Immutable Holdings, and BitZero. These are companies that are basically riding the wave in a regulated environment. And the only way you can treat crypto and different coins and tokens and blockchains and productivity tools is to think of it this way. Bitcoin is not a coin, it's software. Ethereum is software. Solana is software. HBAR is software. It's all software, and I don't know which of these is going to work, so I take a portfolio approach. I've got 20%, which is the maximum I can put into the operating company. That's as much as I can put in, but I've got 32 positions within that 20% holding, and now I have to wait and see what emerges. I'm going to get some losers, I'm going to get some winners, but I only need one big winner to get a great return. I don't know which one it's going to be.
Is there one that could be the next Bitcoin, or is there no next Bitcoin?
I don't think you're ever going to pass the granddaddy crypto that's going to continue to become harder and harder to mine and just get more scarce. It's real estate to me. To me, it's AAA office real estate. I'm holding my coins in perpetuity. My assumption is it'll at least match the index's performance over time, if not beat it. I don't know who's going to win. I have no idea, but I bet in my portfolio I got a couple of winners. It's like Shark Tank.